What if the grand estate that symbolizes your town's pristine history is actually a monument to silenced voices, and the only way to solve a murder in the present is to stop polishing the silver and start excavating the secrets buried beneath the floorboards? In Murder at the Maplewood Hall, Erin Macy delivers a cozy mystery that transforms the manor house trope into a luminous exploration of class, legacy, and female intuition, proving that in spaces built on inherited privilege, justice requires listening to the staff as closely as the heirs. This isn't merely another drawing room whodunit with tea and tweed. It's a witty, emotionally precise narrative where every family portrait feels like both clue and confession. Consent to investigate is negotiated through respect for lived experience rather than social station, and truth means honoring the invisible labor that kept the hall standing long after its glory faded. From the first creaking floorboard narration, listeners are welcomed into a world where manners mask motives and hospitality is the ultimate alibi. Perfect for fans of character-driven cozies and stories where female sleuths triumph through empathy over entitlement, this audiobook serves up atmospheric charm, relentless authenticity, and a protagonist whose journey from polite guest to sovereign truth-teller resonates with anyone who's ever seen what others refuse to acknowledge. When archivist Alara Vance is hired to catalog Maplewood Hall's library before its conversion into a luxury hotel, she expects dusty ledgers, not to discover the estate's matriarch dead in the conservatory, her final note referencing a scandal erased from official records. But as Alara navigates grieving relatives and defensive staff, she realizes this death isn't about inheritance, it's about reckoning. Macy masterfully avoids reducing Alara to nosy outsider or Maplewood to gothic caricature. Instead, she crafts a narrative where domestic service becomes forensic expertise, where consent is renegotiated through mutual recognition of hidden histories, and where liberation requires amplifying voices that were paid to be silent. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional precision, capturing Alara's academic curiosity softening into fierce advocacy, while secondary voices shift subtly between performative grief and guarded knowledge, making every conversation feel like both etiquette lesson and evidence gathering. You don't just hear the mystery unfold, you feel the seismic shift of a community learning that some truths can only be spoken when the hierarchy crumbles. What elevates Murder at the Maplewood Hall beyond typical manor mysteries is its nuanced portrayal of domestic labor as archival wisdom rather than background scenery. Alara isn't merely solving a crime, she's confronting how historical preservation has traditionally centered owners over workers, challenging the notion that heritage belongs only to those who held title. Her relationships evolve through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences with housekeepers whose memories bypass written records, establishing trust through acknowledgement of unpaid emotional labor, and defending staff testimony against heirs who mistake loyalty for ownership. Supporting characters add vital texture: gardeners whose botanical knowledge maps hidden timelines, cooks whose recipes encode family dysfunction, even the hall itself, rendered as living archive, whose drafty corridors absorb centuries of unspoken bargains. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In estates built on erasure, attention is insurgency, and presence is the only true heirloom. Even the cozy mechanics serve thematic depth, with servant quarters mirroring marginalized perspectives, and afternoon tea becoming metaphor for equitable dialogue. For audiobook listeners, this production is pure audiobook comfort with substance. The narrator embodies Alara and the Maplewood community with remarkable distinction. Alara's voice carries warm intelligence laced with dawning resolve, while secondary voices span generations and stations, making each resident's journey distinct yet interconnected. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming intimacy. Distant grandfather clocks marking temporal rhythm, rain against leaded windows during vulnerable confessions, the hushed rustle of silk syncing with breath during moments of revelation, all anchor emotional stakes in sensory reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of estate life, deliberate during cataloging and reflection, then surging with urgency as external pressures collide with internal awakenings. Whether you're commuting through modern chaos or unwinding in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable sanctuary where slowness feels sacred and connection feels lifeline. It's storytelling as embodied validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a mystery, where healing isn't about catching a killer, but about restoring dignity to the overlooked. Ultimately, Murder at the Maplewood Hall redefines the cozy mystery by centering female epistemology with class frameworks,